Hey, what's up, people? It's on by 4K Bucket. So we have exactly 40 minutes to learn Python. 155 pages. This is the first time I'm learning Python, but I know I have a bit of programming experience from before. But the point is we are going to learn this Python programming in less than 40 minutes. 155 page. Ugh. So hopefully you are prepared. Hopefully you are ready. You can catch up. Let me go and get my Python book. My computer programming book. This is my computer programming book. This is my computer programming book. This is my computer programming book. But I think I'm going to write down important things. Not. I think my mind is very wide, clear enough. My mind is open. It's an open book. I haven't really learned anything, so I'm willing and I'm ready to take in the material. This is wasting a lot of my time. Okay, it is opening up. So funny thing that not is a funny thing. Like nimegundua I'm alone. I'm alone in this fucking planet, bro. I'm alone in this fucking planet, bro. Haitaka ina scroll pole pole hivi hizo stuff nikiwa kumaliza hii kitu. So Python programming. Python tutorial. Python tutorial. Release 3.17. Guido van Razum and the Python development team. Bro. So let's say by 8 p.m. I would have finished this PDF and packed the whole information in my head that I can work with Python. Everything about Python. Let's see how I can embark on it, because I know I have programming knowledge, a little bit programming language, not that much, but I quite understand the concepts, not all the concepts, but I've gone through the basics of a lot of languages like JavaScript. I've gone through this Python. I've looked at it before. I wasn't interested that much. I thought I have all the time in the world, but right now it seems that I'm running out of time and I'm unable to do anything. Literally, I just came out of campus without literally learning anything. I'm one of those people. So I know I'm not alone because but I don't want to justify it with other people. I think it is all my fault, and I could have done better. I could have done better if I could have known earlier. But guess what? I cannot turn back time to the good old days. So I have to work with what I got. I have to work with what I got. So the table of contents, whetting your appetite. Using Python, will I be able to learn this? Yeah, it is recording, so it is recording. I think I have like 10 minutes so that I can restart the video afresh. So, using Python interpreter. Invoking, it is called invoking the interpreter. You invoke the interpreter. The interpreter and its environment. That is what we are going to learn. The first thing, an informal introduction to Python. Using Python as a calculator. You can use Python as a calculator. I think this is about numbers and operations, and this is variables and I don't know, steps, first steps towards programming. I think we are going to talk about how the syntax of Python and everything. More control flow tools. The if statements, these are control flow. The if statements, these are the control flow. For it's the loop. The range we are going to talk about functions. The range function, break and continue statements. These are just the else clauses and loops. These are just loops. The pass statement, definition function. So we are going to talk in chapter 4. We are going to talk more about the control flow tools and functions. Then in chapter 5 we are going to look at data structures. We are going to talk about lists. We have the lists, del statements, tuples and sequences, sets and dictionaries, looping techniques, more on conditions, comparing sequences. In chapter 6 we have modules. We are going to talk about modules, standard modules, the directory function, packages. Then chapter 7 we are going to talk about inputs and outputs. We have errors and expectations. Then we are going to talk about syntax errors, but I think we are going to learn about syntax rules on chapter 1 because that is the first thing we have to learn. It is essential to learn about syntax. Exceptions, handling exceptions, rising exceptions, use defined exceptions. Okay, there are a lot of things. Predefined cleanup actions. Then we are going to talk about classes, word about names and objects. First Python classes, randomized remarks, a brief detour on the standard library, a brief detour. So we are going to look at the library, which is going to take around 4 pages, so it is not that long. But I think this is a brief introduction before we even start doing anything. So before we look into this material, I will have to use an artificial intelligence like, okay, how about I try to use machine learning? Google Notebook. I'll use Google Notebook. I will have to use Google, but it will be using the same document, so I don't think it will be helpful. The better solution too is I want to compress the material as much as I can because I have less than 36 minutes to absorb this material. I'm setting a new world record. This is a new world record. So teach me about all the concepts I need to know in Python. Ilikuwa ni 3.75. But this is not important. Python is a fantastic language to learn because it is high level. meaning reads almost like English. To go from a beginner to a proficient coder, you can think of your journey from into 4 stages. The fundamentals, so these are the building blocks. Before you can build complex complex programs, you need to understand how Python stores and handles data. So I need to understand how Python stores and handles data. Variables and data types. So we have variables. These are like x, and we have and data types. How Python stores information. I know data types. We have integers, floats. I'm forgetting strings and boolean. We have integers, floats, string, and booleans. Operators doing math and comparisons. These are useful. Comparisons, lists and tuples, and dictionaries. These are containers used to store collection of data. So the first thing we are going to look at is the building blocks, which are the data. Python deals with data, how we store data, how we operate that data, how we store a collection of data in dictionaries, tuples, and lists. That is the first thing. The first thing we have to learn is the data. Python. The second thing we are going to learn is the logic. The logic. Control flow is how your program makes decisions and repeats tasks. So if you want to understand this thing first, you have to understand that this thing is made to think like us. So the first thing we have to know, how do we store data? How do we separate the types of data we have? The second thing, what is the logic of the data? Like how can the program make decisions? So we are going to use if and else statements, and we are going to use loops and functions. So the third thing is the logic. These are the loops. Loops and statements and functions. Loops and statements and function. The intermediate thing is the Pythonic. We are going to learn about the Pythonic way. Once I can write basic scripts, these concepts help me write efficient professional code. So I'm going to learn about classes and objects, object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming, error handling, and list comprehension, modules and packages,